And welcome to the second episode of this Python tutorial series. In the first episode, all we were doing was just setting up Python and PyCharm to get my page, what I'm looking at right now, and your guys' computer. If you guys need help on that, go to the first video, then come back. If not, just stay here. In this episode, what I want to explain to you guys is something called variables. And there's a bunch of different types of variables, but what a variable is in essence is you're storing a value into a name, and you could refer back to that value so you don't have to keep retyping it in, for example. So let me just type one out. You go X, so you can name it anything. You go first variable, and you assign it a value by using equals. So you go equals, and it could be the number 5, the number 10, it could be 4.3, it could be hello, it could be any different type of variables. And all those ones that I was showing you were all different types. And so the first type of variable I'm going to explain to you guys in this episode is a string. All a string is a list of characters. And this is what a string is. It could be a word, a sentence, a phrase. It could be text. It's all text. And you could create a string by using quotes like this or single quotes like that. They're both the same way in Python. But there's 6 different other types of variables you could use. So there's integers, which is the number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's floats, which is just 1.1. There's decimal numbers, and like 4.5. There's booleans. Booleans are true and false. They store the value true or false. There's list and tuples, or tuples, whichever one you want to say, and their lists have a lot of have a lot of similarities with strings, as I'll explain. And all it is just storing values in an array, if you've heard of that. And each array has a different index, which you could refer to and open up. And there's also a dictionary, which are similar to lists, but they have their differences, as I'll explain in different videos. But this video is just strings. I just wanted to explain to you guys all of the variables first, and then we'll dive into each and every single one of them. This video just being strings. Different type of variable, whichever one it's stored, has a different type of functions that it could be used. So you use a different type of functions for strings, for use a different type of one for integers, for floats, for any different type of one. And so I'm going to explain to you a couple of the functions, the main ones that I've been using for like the past 5, 6 years in Python for strings. And so let's get started. So this is just a string as I've explained, and let me show you how to get to the functions. So you just type the variable first. So you go first variable, that's the name. And you go dot. And when you put dot, it shows you a page of all the different types of functions. So I'll explain to you guys the main ones. So there's dot lower, and all lower does is it's it takes the string and it puts it into lowercase format. So we go print first variable dot lower. It's already in lowercase, so let me change a couple of words just to show you guys. Hello, and then we'll go hello world, which is all in uppercase. And it's just going to put everything in lowercase. And there's with lower, there's upper, and it prints it in uppercase. And that's lower and upper for you. It's pretty self-explanatory. And the next function I want to show you is dot find. And with what find is, it's a little confusing at the start, but as you'll learn, it'll get easier with time. So what find does is it finds the index of the word you're looking for or the character you're looking for. So let's say I want to find world. So let's go world that. So it's saying, all right, I'm gonna open this variable up. I'm gonna open it, and this is the value, and I want to look for the index where it finds world, and this is where world is. So what will it print? Will it print world? What will it print? It'll print the number 6. And what the number 6 is it goes 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 is the sixth index of this list of characters. That's what Python thinks. That's how it thinks. And so it returns that number because that's the index. So if I go print first variable index 6, it'll print capital. Oh, there you go. Sorry, I didn't put the parentheses for the print. It'll print W. So that's where it starts. we'll come back to the list of characters more at the end of the video, but I just wanted to show what find does. So we go, hello world, my name is Rico. We'll go print first variable dot find, and we could go, it doesn't have to be a word, it could be a character, it could be anything. But let's just say name, right? Because there's a name right here. 15. N is the 15th character or 15th index of this string. So it starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, up to 15. That's where name starts. And if it finds nothing, so let's just say Sam, let's say my name is Sam, but I put Rico. What will it output? -1. It found -1 means it found nothing, right? That's what find does. That's one of the important functions that you could learn. So we learned lower, we learned upper, we learned find. And one thing you could use with all functions, not just these three that you learned, you could put them all in the same line. So you go dot lower, dot upper, dot find, anything, right? So you could keep them all in the same line so you're not wasting lines and confusing yourself in the future. And the next function I want to show you guys is something called replace. This one I use probably the most out of all these ones I'm going to show you in this video. All it does is just it replaces text, characters, anything with something else. So you can go dot replace, and the first one is the old word that you want to change. So let's say Rico. Let's say I want to replace Rico with a new word, John. And so it even shows you old and new. So it's like, all right, I want to open first variable. This is the value. And I want to find anywhere where it says Rico, and anywhere where it says Rico, I want to replace it with John. And let's print it. Hello world, my name is John instead of Rico. And you could do this with anything. So let's just say I want to find all the spaces and I want to replace them with nothing. So it doesn't just take one space, it takes all the spaces. So you go like that, it takes out all the spaces and replaces them with nothing. Just like that. That's replace. And let's say we have hello Rico. My name is Rico. We'll take out all the Ricos and we'll replace it with nothing. We could do that. Hello, my name is takes it out. That's what replace does. Pretty simple. And there's another very simple function that I find myself using a lot is called strip. So let's just say you get this one value from an input, and there's a bunch of trailing and leading spaces that you don't want in your function or in your string, right? So how you would take them out is first variable. So you just refer to the function dot strip, just taking out all the leading or the trailing and leading white spaces. That's it. But let's say I put something else here like that. This is not leading anymore. It's just part of the string, right? So this would still be there. But if I go like that, all it is it just cleans up the function, right? It cleans up the string for you, cleaning up here and cleaning up here. That's it. And something similar to uh, strip is split. And what split does is it it turns the string into a list. And a list is if you remembered, it's a different type of variable. So we can make a new variable, list var, for example. And you know how you create strings with quotes? You create a list with like that, with brackets. Let me just take these out so we can clean it up. Hello world. And that's basically it. And a list is the same thing as an array. If you've heard that before, it's their list array. They're the same thing. And all it is it stores a bunch of values in different indexes. So, and you could, let me show you like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is the first index and it starts at 0, not 1, 2, 3. You could put anything in a list. You could put numbers, characters, you could put variables, you could put this variable in this list. And if, as I'm explaining this string is a lot like a list because you could strip it and you go dot strip and you have to put something in this strip. And all it's basically saying is, how would you like to index this string? How would you like to separate all the words in this string? Let's say I want to separate it by space, by one space. So there's one space here And so all it is this hello is going to be part of the first index, and this space is going to be separated, and then the world is going to be the second. Oh, that's split. Sorry, not dot strip. So there's dot strip and split. And what split does is it turns it into an array, and strip takes out the white spaces. They're saying very similar, so I get confused sometimes. But there's hello world, and it puts it in the first index, and the comma is now from the space as we inputted it, and there's world. And that's all that split does. We'll get more into lists as we go on into the next episode, but I just wanted to explain split. And the next one I want to explain. So we'll have first variable, and as you scroll down, there's a bunch, and there's too many to count and explain. It'll just make the video too long. So what I want to show you guys is the is command. So dot is lower, dot is digit, dot is upper, all these ones. And all this is saying is it returns a true and a false for each, and they're all different, obviously. So first variable dot is lower, it returns the variable if it's all in lowercase. So this should return a false because these are in uppercase, right? So, but if it's like that, like that, it's because it's all in lowercase. And it's the same thing with dot is upper, right? It's false because it's in lowercase. Now there's one more there I want to show you is dot is digit. Are these digits? Are these numbers? These are not numbers, right? So it's going to return false. But if it's like, let's say it's the number 102, dot is digit, it is a digit, so it returns true. What else do I want to show? I want to explain not functions, but what you can do with strings. So let's come back to hello world. Excuse me. So we go print hello world, right? Oh, print first variable. Sorry, you want to print the variable. Just like that. Let's say, as I explained, this is a lot like a list, and you could print an index of the lists. So this is like a list of characters, you could say. So the first one is 0, right? Just like a list, you could run it, it'll print the first index. Let's say I want to print just world. The W starts at the sixth index, and I want to print a whole set of the list, right? A set of the list. So we'll go from 6 to the end. And for the end, you just don't write anything. So this is basically saying I want to print first variable starting from the sixth index to the end. Like that, world. And you could go from 6 to 8, right? You go from this index to the eighth index, just like that. And so how it works is, let me explain from like 0 to 3, right? So print variable from the 0 to the third. HEL. So you're printing 0, 1, 2. It should print the second L, right? But there's not. What it does is it starts from 0 and it prints everything before this index. So it's from 0 to 1, 2, but not the third. It leaves this one out. That's just how it works. And you use it you separate them from 0 to 3, use the double dot for the 2. And you could add to strings if you like. So you go first variable, you can add it into another variable. Let me explain. So you go second var equals first variable, right? And instead of, you know, I want to add to the string, I don't want to make a whole new one. We could go plus. You could use it like an addition. So I'm going to add to the string plus this. You're going to use a space, hello world, comma, my name is Rico. So it's basically saying hello world is its first variable. This first variable goes into this, and you're going to add my name is Rico. You go print second variable, just like that. And that's what you could do with adding. You could add to the strings. And that's a lot of the functionalities of strings. We're going to get more into lists in another episode. So you'll understand more about the brackets and all that. So we go like variable equals hello, and the variable, and you could var2 equals var from, from 0, 1, 2, 3, right? And we're just gonna ignore this one, and so it'll just be HEL for var2. It got a little confusing for me when I first started learning it, but the more we get into it, you'll understand. See? HEL. That's how brackets work, and it works a lot with lists, as we'll explain later. But for this video, that's basically it. For string variables, you'll learn more as I show more examples and experience, but these are just the basics I wanted to show you. So thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next episode where we'll talk about integers and floats. Thank you.